Well, hello everyone.
Evening.
Welcome
How
to
are you,
another
Bob?
show. I'm doing good. You could
Good.
say, welcome to another No Life Beekeeping Chat.
You betcha.
We got 9 people here right now.
Right
Excited
on.
to be here with exactly one more day left in this 2025.
And Mr. Boots,
Mr. Boots is talking to everyone tonight,
right? He's just singing his little song.
just purring away. Just purring away for
Happy
sure.
boy.
The link is right up there in the chat, so should be. Did I not pin it? I thought I pinned it. Let me make sure it's pinned. There we go. Now it's pinned. So it is right up there now. And, it's that time of the year. I've been, as everyone knows that watches that, I've been pretty busy, except for the last 2 days. Last 2 days I've kind of laid out. Well, laid out of going outside to the table. But with that being said, still been busy jarring. I actually did a little bit of cut chunk honey in the jar, comb honey, whatever you want to call it, inside the jar, pint jars. So if you're watching and you sell said chunk honey in a pint jar, what is your going price? What do you usually sell it for? Because I sell a pint jar with no comb for $15. So is that a $20 investment or what? I mean, it's kind of interesting if it's worth $5, to have a piece of comb in the jar. I get a few people. I probably get 1 or 2 people a week that ask me for, honey with the comb in it. And they're not talking about comb honey. They're actually talking about a jar of honey with comb in it. So, I did it. I was thinking probably $20. Yeah, he said 20. So that's thing. I jarred up a bunch of creamed honeys today. Now I'm doing smaller batches, so I'll do like half a dozen of a flavor, right? So I'm not out, but I'm not storing a ton of it either. Of course, when you got 15 different flavors, even if you do 6, you storing a ton of it. But I did some PB&J, some lemon pepper, some espresso, some more bourbon vanilla bean. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know, 4 or 5 different ones, and then
Sorry,
of course
Bob.
peanut butter and jelly cake.
Arranging my windows here. Yeah, I've done chunk honey. It sold pretty good. However, I never increased the price beyond my regular jar. It was just kind of a special thing. I think I only did it twice. And it just happened to be that I was cutting up my comb honey uh, a day or two before a market that I was going to do. So I used kind of the scraps, if you want to call them, just the
Right.
pieces that I'd have to cut off to put it in a jar or put it in a tray. And since I'd use this thinner strips and whatnot, put that in a jar, fill it with liquid honey, and so I sold those right away. I sold them in a few days. So thing about chunk honey is if it granulates on it, you're kind of
Screwed.
in a bad way.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed is the current honey that I'm jarring is much lighter than some of the stuff that was in the comb. So the
Oh
comb
yeah,
looks darker inside a clear thing. So
yeah.
it's a little weird in some instances, but if that's what they want, I'll sell it to them.
It always looked like some kind of a scientific experiment,
Yeah,
something in a jar of formaldehyde or something like that.
yeah. I don't have the nice little cutter and everything. I just used the knife and cut it off the comb, and then kind of sectioned it to be tall and long enough, as best as I could. And if it was too small, then it got 2 pieces or something like that, just to fill the jar up. And keep the honey. I even took a nice cutting board out there to keep it from getting everything sticky. It just got the cutting board sticky. And
There's plenty of honey that comes out when you start cutting comb.
oh yeah,
When I do my comb in the honey house, I have a like a cooling rack, but it sits on top of my big cookie sheet, like one of those big commercial size cookie sheets, and it catches a ton of honey as I cut it up.
well, we're gonna see what tomorrow brings because I have full intentions of being out there. I got all my business done early in the week. You know, going to the bank, depositing my Scrooge McDuck millions that I've made from selling honey the last few weeks, and put that in the bank. And the guy was really appreciative that I actually lined all my bills in the same direction for him, so he was happy about that. And so, you know, did that. And then, of course, promptly, as soon as the money was in the bank, I had to turn around and start ordering stuff for the business. So
That's the way it goes.
Trying to scale it up and still
So
make it make sense.
that's my experience of this business is mostly cash flow.
Yeah, it's the
You look
money.
at what my total sales were. Yeah, great. Look what my total expenses were. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it was a very good December for me, and you know, there's no complaint in sight. The only thing I wish I would have done different is I would have went out there every day starting at the beginning of the month instead of starting at the middle of the month, because it could have been a much better month. Or, you know, maybe not, because
You don't
I
know.
did go out there Sunday. I had the tent up, and it just wasn't a real good sales day. You know, and when I say real good, I'm comparing that to the other days that I've had leading up to Christmas. If this was any other day before the last 2 weeks, I would have said, yeah, it's a pretty good day. You know, but compared to those, it was not the same, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, still a couple $100 I didn't have, and even today I didn't go out, and it was over $100 in sales with people driving up to the yard. So, you know, what can you do? Just
Yeah, I
take the
think the
one.
fact that you are out there a lot more now, you will get a lot more drive up even when you're not there.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. More people asking me for like beeswax, right? That's something that I never sold before, and then people started asking for it. Sure, you can buy some beeswax. I've got enough to sell to you.
Right.
So just keeping things moving. I'm selling more board butter, right? Because I've had it. And what I've noticed is if I put something on the table, it's like the first 2 days, nothing. That product will not sell sitting there. Day 3, I'll sell 2 or 3 of them. It's been weird like that. And it's the same thing with the comb honey or the pollen or any of that has been that way. We got the Triceratops hunter, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
They're doing fine.
Well, happy New Year to you, sir. Coming
Yes.
up.
Same to you guys.
We've just been chatting about the honey and the honey sales, and you know, I can only imagine if I had the size operation that like you or Doug have, the amount of honey. So right now I'm having a hard time figuring out if it's kind of like if you build it, they will come, like the Field of Dreams, right? Am I selling more honey because I'm out there more often? Probably getting a few extra, but was it something just for the holidays where people were just coming up for the holidays? I don't know, you know, because of the timing of it. Could be both.
Yeah.
But it was really, you know, it was really a good month. If I could do that every month, I would not have to go back to work. I don't think, you know, it'd just be sell honey all year round. And just picking the times that I can expand that. And
I'm certain you can. However, it's still a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's definitely different work when you're a one man show, right? Because just because you're done at the road doesn't mean the work is done. I mean,
That's
you got
right.
to come back in and then you got to bottle and you got to
Yeah.
cream, you got to flavor and do all that stuff, right? So, and Doug's worried about my KitchenAid mixer if it's going to last. I hope. I hope it does.
It's on overtime.
It is on overtime. It made 6 different flavors today. It worked like a champ. And I'm gonna tell you what, I think I figured a hack out for small people like me that are doing cream, definitely flavors of creamed honey. Instead of pouring that creamed honey from the mixer into the gated pail to jar, I've just been pouring it into a basically a 2-quart tea pitcher or Kool-Aid pitcher, whatever you call it, juice pitcher, and it makes it so easy just to pour it right into the jars, and then I just have to clean 2 things instead of 2 things in a bucket or a bunch of stuff, and and as compared to the gated pail, where even when it stops coming out of the gated pail, then you're tipping the pail over, trying to fill it. The pitcher works really well. Just a plastic pitcher. So, hey, James, good to see you. We're up to 45 people all of a sudden. Hey, Dean, trying to catch up with people. Hey, Highland Honey, Brian.
When that mixer gives out, you'll have to go to a drill.
Go to the drill. I've got a drill. That's how I was doing it before I got the mixer, but I wasn't. The good thing is, I mean, the way I have it right now, I can just take the little mixing bowl with the handle on it over to the tap and fill it up with the honey, right, and then put the flavor in and mix it. But if it goes out, might have to. Well, thank you, Brad, because I didn't put that up. It just magically appeared. Scroll and tab.
I got you, buddy.
Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, definitely the creamed honeys have been really helping out with sales here. It's just a constant teaching moment about creamed honey, right? I don't know how many times I got to tell people on how we control the crystallization and blah, yada, 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 and that I don't add any extra sweeteners.
Oh, that never ends. That will never end, my friend.
Every time somebody comes up, it's like, oh, you got to try this. You like peanut butter and jelly? You got to try this, right?
Yeah, it's a real art to say something 1,000 times a day to 1,000 different people and make it fresh every time.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's definitely, especially, we get in these moods, and I'm kind of in that mood tonight to where I'm just like, ugh, I just want to veg out or something. But
you've been working really hard. You haven't taken a day off in a while.
No, it is taxing. I miss my vegetation time where I can just sit there and scroll through stuff, right? But it's but like we told Alex, this honey's not going to sell itself, right? So we got to sell it.
Can't give Alex all that advice and then not take it yourself.
Yeah, got to do it for sure. But it's nice to my community here, they're very supportive. I mean, a lady went to the grocery store, bought her groceries. I don't know if they do it in Canada, but here they give you an option that when you're at the register and using your card, that you can ring out for over and up to like $20 to $50, maybe $100, where they'll give you cash back, right? You're basically e-transferring to them and they're just refunding you. And she purchased over so she could bring the cash down here to buy her honey. She was at the damn grocery store.
Right.
So it's like people are doing that here. They know
it's a great deal for the store because effectively the cash out of the till just went straight to the bank.
Yeah, they don't have to count as much that way, I guess. but it's been a that education of customers is how you earn an upcharge. You know what, Brian? But with that being said, I will, and I told this to Brad the other day when I was sitting out there. Someone actually came up and requested a creamed honey. Like they said, do you have the lemon honey? Absolutely have the lemon honey, which when I started this journey wasn't happening, right? They didn't have any clue about it. So it is definitely changing around here. And I had a lady stop and said she's been to every farmer's market around here. She's never seen flavored creamed honeys at any of them. So, so again, it's about,
and you not only are the guy with the flavored honey, you have really good flavored honey. So, you're doing a good service to those customers. You're not just making something that's flavored honey that's really, they think is good, but it's not really that good.
Well, and in this case, even if it was bad, they wouldn't know the difference, right? Because
that's what I'm saying. When you bring something new to an area, you could serve a substandard product, and everybody would think that that's what it's supposed to be. But the problem is, then some people don't like it, and it gets a bad name. Oh, I don't like that stuff, right?
Right.
But
well, that's another reason why when people are looking, it's almost like analysis paralysis when you've got a lot of flavors and they look and they're like, well, I want to try one of these, but which one? There's so many, right? So I said, hey, if you're not sure, let's come back here to the tasting station and grab you one of these spoons and let you taste it first, because I'd rather you taste it and know you don't like it before you get it home.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, it's totally okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings, right? If you say that sucks, I appreciate that more than you think, because if you tell me it sucks, maybe I did something wrong and I need to.
Oh, and it may not suck. It may just not be their flavor.
Right. And that's the other thing, right? I said, that's why I've got so many flavors, because I know some people don't like peach that like strawberry. And
that's right.
So
now that you've got them hooked, you're going to have to stay at it. Keep a regular seed out there.
Yeah, that's what I was doing today. Is probably about 6 different flavors I made up, and the peanut butter and jelly. The 2 new ones are doing real good right now. The bourbon vanilla bean, the PB&J. I was running out of espresso, so I made half a dozen espresso and some lemon pepper, James, that I've been out of for a long time. I made some lemon pepper, and we'll just.
Oh, that's a good question. What's the ideal number of flavors to have on the table?
Yeah, I think it's for me. I don't mind having a lot of flavors personally. To me, if someone doesn't like lemon pepper honey, they may really like the vanilla honey, right? So it gives them options. And what I find more than not is if they try one and they see the quality of the first one that they've tried, well, then they kind of trust the flavoring on the other ones, right?
Yeah.
The lemon's really good. Let me get a lemon and a strawberry and a cinnamon. Perfect. And more times than not, they're buying more than one item. I mean, I've got now after being out there for 2 weeks, thanks to Brad pointing it out, that I can go to my Square dashboard and I can see exactly what flavors I've been selling, at least if they're paying for a credit card, by credit card. And very few people are only buying a jar of honey. They're buying multiple items, multiple SKUs of things especially when they're using credit card. But a lot of times that, I think my average ticket's like $40 and I'm selling it for $10 a pound. And, people aren't buying 4 pounds of honey at one shot, usually. Hey, Ian, usually they're buying, a runny honey, because that's why they came. My goal to get them to not only buy a runny honey because that's why they came, but fresh hot apple pie, right? And speaking of fresh hot apple pies, Brad made some apple pies today.
Today was apple pie day.
But
and it was yummy.
So oftentimes I'll ask people, well, what do are you drinking? Are you a coffee drinker? Are you a tea drinker? Oh, well, I generally drink coffee. Great. This vanilla works great in coffee, and this espresso works great in coffee, right? Do you like to use honey when you're cooking? Great. This hot honey and this lemon pepper honey work really well for that, right? And so it's just giving them a few options to make their choices. I also, where I was doing the bourbon vanilla bean in the big deli container, now it's in the smaller container, right? So, so I'm just options, right? Different options, and it's working pretty well.
I tend to, as far as how many flavors, I tend to go conservative on that because there is the analysis paralysis. And tasters help with that, but there is that. And, they're going to buy something anyway. And I don't know. I don't know how many different flavors on the table are really going to help you. I tend to would stick to.
Well, it also depends.
Maybe my four top flavors or something.
It also depends on what are you doing. Like Brian works a lot of markets, right?
Yeah.
So more flavors for him probably is not an issue. For me, more flavors means more storage, and more storage is something I don't have, right?
And at a market, that's where I would do fewer. We'd go to a market and I'd have 24 flavors. Oh, smokes. That's a lot of work. And people would stand and look at that flavor display for 10 minutes.
Well, believe it or not,
and almost always just buy a jar of cinnamon.
And that's what I was about to say. Probably it's a poor job on my behalf because cinnamon for me is not a big seller. And that's probably goes back to my education of the customer, right? Well, what can I use this on? Well, toast, biscuits, coffee, tea.
Imagination.
Whatever you want to, right? You can definitely do that. But cinnamon has not been a big seller for me. Lemon sells a lot. Why? Because I sell a lemon. When people ask me, well, what's my favorite flavor? Lemon's my favorite flavor.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it? Sure. And they try it. Oh yeah, I'll take one of those, right? But I don't do that necessarily with the cinnamon. So there's definitely room for improvement on my behalf when it comes to that. I have not made orange creamsicle creamed honey. I haven't even made orange creamed honey. I've actually thought about doing the blueberry lemonade one, like the blueberry and lemon in the same container, kind of like I do the peanut butter and jelly, but just use or strawberry lemonade, right? Strawberries and lemon, that would be good. Stuff like that. But what I'm finding now, after the last several weeks, is that every new flavor that I create is more work for me. It's just more work, right? So now instead of creaming one flavor, I have to cream two flavors to make one product, right? So it's definitely a
more inventory too.
Yeah, more inventory, which I ordered 6 cases of jars and only 2 of them have shown up, right? So I'm still waiting on 4 to come. That I guess will be here.
The only flavored honey we've had for years is cinnamon, and we will probably sell 1 cinnamon for every 4 regular creamed.
See, mine's the other way around here, and that's again that's me, right?
We added honey garlic this year. We have a lady that grows garlic and dehydrates it and grinds it to a powder. So we use it. And the local bar buys our honey, mixes garlic with it for their honey garlic ribs at the bar.
That sounds really good. Just a garlic powder in the honey.
Yeah. It's real garlic, like it's dehydrated and ground.
Oh yeah, Brian, it definitely gets top price for a reason. But I say that because I'm only one guy, right? And I don't have any, and God, thank God she's at work. I don't get any help when it comes to that stuff, right? She might come sit at the table. She might help a little bit there, but as far as flavors or sauce or anything, the barbecue sauce by far, I sell every jar that I make. Just do. I mean, to the point to where I've actually looked at a specialized bottle for just the barbecue sauce, right? Making it look different, stand out from the rest of my bottles. And it's, but I get a great, even at what I say, 55 cents per head is what I told you the last bottles ended up costing shipping.
Something. Yeah, it was about that.
Sweet tea ice cream. That might be off-putting. I don't even know if that would sound tasty to me. It's pudding. It's always pudding.
and I don't think you need to get too exotic. I think getting exotic with the flavors is maybe counterproductive. You know, keep it
Yeah,
simple.
right now I have enough flavors.
You know, cinnamon and lemon and strawberry and stuff like that. That, I mean, everybody knows those flavors, right?
Yeah, it's in. I think if creamed honey was more known down here, that it would be easier to introduce flavors. But the last thing I want to do, and I told Brad this several times, is peach honey. I made peach honey, my peach creamed honey, I think 2 years ago. I want to say it was 2 years ago I jarred that honey up. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, peach honey, everyone's buying peach honey. And I'm like confused because for 2 years I've had it on the table and nobody's bought the shit. And now all of a sudden everybody wants it. So it's like,
personally, I would not make it again. I don't care if it was a run on it in a week or whatever. If you make it and it sits for 2 years, I wouldn't make it again.
Let's see. I can, while we're talking here, I can look up exactly exactly when I ordered the peach, and I know I made it as soon as I got it, right? So let's see. While we're sitting here, that's probably would be in my buy againers, right? Oh, look who we got. It's the new phone man himself.
Hey guys,
Hey, boss.
Hey, Ian. Good to see you.
stop by just for a hi.
What you up to tonight?
I just got in. I was working on the old truck, just about to pull the engine out. The fun part now. So I did
Nice.
all the grunt work underneath, just loosening things up. So I wanted the kids to help me pull the engine out and then onto the table so we can start disassembling. So that's fun. But doing, end of year stuff, just some of the business stuff. Now that all the family gatherings are done, we're getting back to the grind.
I was trying to see when last time I ordered this thing, and it doesn't even tell me anymore.
Did you have spring there today, Ian?
Yeah, I did. It got up to about 2 degrees. So the fans
Yeah.
are on a high.
Wow.
Yeah, the bees are calm. They're not doing a whole lot. I have both air vents wide open so I can get a lot of airflow through the shed. But yeah, it's crazy weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's snowing right
-9.
now.
-9 here for a high today.
We were
-9 is a
+2.
high.
The high today was -9. Yeah.
Oh, and Doug, how warm are you over there?
We were +2 all day.
Yeah, so you and I were about the same. It's about -9 now. Yeah.
It's
My
0
crazy
C
weather.
here right now.
7 here.
Today it was 80 degrees. Today it's 0C.
I went in the shed and I swept up another garbage can of sweepings, so it's not too bad. They're dying slowly.
I
Well,
was in my shed and I just had to open a door to put something in there. And they seemed to be pretty active. I actually saw some flying around the shed, and a couple flew out. I saw one little tiny beard, and there was a few that were pushed right out to the entrance. But it was,
Oh, yeah.
I checked the temperature, it was 3 degrees in there.
What happened to your bearded ones? Did they get back in the hive or are on the floor?
I think they went back in. I didn't see a remarkable drop on the floor in front of those hives. There's some drop, but not necessarily a big pile there. I think they went back in eventually. That's weird. It's just weird.
Something
like 2 out of
pushed them out,
44.
eh? Something.
Yeah,
Yeah, something
weird.
pushed them out.
think a mouse got in there.
I'll check them. I doubt it. I'll check them in a month.
You find one of them mouse mummies that's been all propolized.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It wasn't so damn painful. You open a colony up like that just to see what's going on inside. But boy,
Yeah, I want to
just
die.
hurts thinking about it.
It does. And they sting you all the way back into the house because they crawl down
Yeah.
your neck.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
That's
Not
a
even
normal
for kinds.
That's just a normal day here.
Then months, hopefully I get a warm day in January sometime. If I can, I'll go and unload it, take it outside, see what the deal is.
James says,
Yeah, it'd be nice to give it a heft anyway. You'd hate to lose it to starvation. If there's something just different about that, right? So, it's a flag.
That's
You
the
hate
most
to
important
lose
thing.
that.
Just to have to make sure they're heavy enough and give them some fondant if they need it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about feeding fondant this spring instead of syrup. It's going to be more expensive, but I need something just to give the colonies right out of the shed. Those hungry ones, just give them a little bit of food. And syrup is so messy, and the bees poop all over the pail, and you wonder if it adds a bit of stress to them. Some guys are feeding fondant; they seem to see pretty good results from that.
Yeah.
Just I'm not sure how to make it.
The worst part is washing all those pails.
Yeah, just shit everywhere. It's just such a mess. You could put a little bit of fondant in there. It's $4 a pound. That's way too much money. So I'm thinking about making it, but I'm not sure. They're talking about heating the syrup up and adding vinegar to it to restructure the sugars in there to make it softer. But what you think that would hurt the bees? That heated up syrup?
Well, you have to do it right. You don't want to heat it too much. You do it right, it's okay.
There's a video out on how to do it. There's one of the guys that watches one of the streams has a video on how to make the fun. Matt, what's Matt's channel, DC?
Sandy Valley
Honey.
Sandy
I'll
Valley
have to look
Honey.
that up. How hot does he heat the syrup up for that?
I don't remember.
I think it's like 180 if I'm something like that.
You need a good candy thermometer, and you got to make it in batches. You got to make it in batches of whatever you can manage with a vessel of some kind. And it's going to take you all winter to make enough.
I can get you 5 tons at about $2 a pound.
$2 is American.
You come in 1 kg packs too.
$2 a pound?
Yeah, that's what it was last time. $2 a pound. 22 kilograms for $80 or something like that. 20.
Who do you source that through?
Mamet. I could probably get
$2 a pound.
Oh. Yeah.
Packaged in $2 a pound.
It's 22 kilograms for like $80.
Yeah, it's packed in kgs. It's nice and flat too.
Yeah, you just got to score
it. Be 1 kg per pack, or how much should per pack?
Yeah, hold on. I got one in the kitchen.
It's one, and it's
that'd be
nice
almost
flat.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think he gave me that last year in Wisconsin, one of those packs.
They're fairly
Yeah, I
big
left it
because
in
they're very
Wisconsin
flat.
because I didn't have enough luggage space for it, and I wasn't thinking of fondant last year, but thinking about this winter, just want something different. Just why I want to try something different more than anything. Feeding syrup sucks. I hate it.
All right.
Well,
So
I hate it too.
don't judge me. This one's been on my kitchen counter for a while, guys.
Evening, Mr. Scott.
It's pretty thin. You just score it and set it on the colony, and they just eat right through it.
Is that a half an inch or more? 3/4 of an inch?
You want millimeters or inches?
Inches. In this case.
If I live to be 1,000, I'd never
Eric, I'm
figure
back,
out
guys.
the Celsius metric system.
It is. Looks like about a 1/4 of an inch.
A quarter?
Yeah.
That might go under your lid.
Is that right? You know, it's not exactly flat.
Be about ½ inch.
You either have to be good at one or the other. You have to be either good at metric or fractions. If you can't do fractions,
It's about a 1/4 of an inch.
okay.
Ooh, that's pretty flat. Do you think that'd slide underneath the frames even? That might work.
And
that's one
It's
1 kilogram.
Yeah, 1 kg. This one has been brutalized on my counter, so. But
So how soft is it?
this one is not very soft. But normally, I mean, it's malleable.
Pretty pliable. Yeah. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind.
Normally, they're pretty. I got a case in my damn truck too.
They got to be fairly stiff because it gets warm in the hive. If it's soft,
she
then
said.
it'll
Ian didn't even laugh at that one. I got a good "that's what she said" joke in, and nobody said no responses from anybody.
nothing. Just cricket.
I'm looking for a way to jump in here and talk about
Jump in.
current subject. So this is my fondant. Okay, so
It's a Ziploc.
yeah, I'm sorry here. I don't know if this will work or not. If I just turn off my image here, I don't know if this will work.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
this is fondant that I made this year. It's my first year ever trying to make fondant. And I know everybody's been talking about Matt from Sandy Valley Honey, his fondant, and and he does a great job. I resisted making fondant every year because of the whole cook process, right? You know, it's tricky and you really got to hold that temperature right. And, candy boards are kind of the same thing, right? You really got to hold that temperature exactly, or you got to get it. And it just seemed like it was too much for me. And I was always a huge mountain camp person. So this is the first year I did not do mountain camp, and you can see like all my colonies back there, and like I'm biting my nails because it's super cold here, right? Like it's Canada cold, right? So
Pretty damn cold then.
yes, and it's been cold and super windy. In fact, like I have a farm stand that I'm gonna try to use this coming year. And it's blown over twice because that thing weighs like 800 pounds, right? And the winds have been so strong here. I live in South Central Pennsylvania. I live just outside the capital of Pennsylvania, which is Harrisburg. So I live about 20 minutes from Hershey. Everybody's heard of Hershey, where they make the chocolate. And I live, the Canadians probably won't understand this, but I live about maybe 25 miles north of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So, and my bees, this bee yard you see here behind me, my bees are 4 miles from the Maryland border. So I live in northern York County, and my bees are in southern York County. So it takes me about 30 minutes, 40 minutes based on traffic to get to my bee yard. Anyway, so I I was a big mountain camp person, really super, happy with doing mountain camp. I always I dump that sugar on in November and just kind of know that if anything went wrong, if I miscalculated, there was always something right there for the bees. They could just get up and get it and stuff. So, but this year I thought, no, I planned and I purchased some equipment, not anything big deal. I purchased a grain mill and a mixer, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to make my own fondant. I bought Hive Alive fondant last year. It cost me an arm and a leg, and I just said, you know what, I'm never going to spend that much money on fondant anymore. So I thought, I'm just going to make my own fondant. This fondant turned out amazing, and I did not cook it. So this fondant was basically.
You said you ground it then?
Yeah, so it's super simple. So I purchased a grain mill on Amazon for around $100. I purchased a 1 millimeter sieve for it for about $14. And it installs with like 2 screws. Super simple.
Did I hear a metric measurement there?
Yes,
Said,
millimeter.
the rest of his life metric or something.
Yes. So anyway, I mean, listen, if it came in imperial, I would have mentioned.
Well, there's a conversion.
What kind of grain mill did you use? Like a kitchen type, or did you have an industrial?
No, it's
a kitchen appliance. Sure.
You know what?
It's a kitchen appliance, right, Scott?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
$80.
I'm gonna sneak out to the garage, snap a picture of it, come right back, show it to you. It'd be super simple.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna switch my internet. I'm getting choppy. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll hold our breath.
You bugger.
We've heard that before. Be right back. See you next week.
Be right back next week.
So it sounds like, Scott, just from hearing is more like a queen candy, right? Hold on, he's switching internets on us.
Okay.
But,
yeah, you know what? Like you
gotta kill your background to do that.
I know, and I use OBS because I'm a technology nerd. So, but killing the background is easier said than done. So this is what it looks like.
Okay. How much? What kind of capacity does that?
So it comes in 2 sizes. This is the larger one, so that's 13.1 gallons, and the hopper holds roughly 40 pounds of granulated sugar. So basically, I dumped 29 pounds of granulated sugar into the hopper, turned the machine on, it turned it into the most perfect powdered sugar you've ever seen. It doesn't have any cornstarch in it, doesn't have any anti-caking crap in it or whatever. I dumped it into the mixer, and I dumped about 20% of honey, so it was about 6-7 pounds of honey or something like that or whatever. A little bit of Honeybee Healthy. I threw some Apis Biologic in it. A little bit of citric acid just for kind of stabilization or whatever on it, and maybe a cup of water, because when it first started coming together, it was coming together more like a cookie dough.
Oh yeah. And
I wanted it to be smoother, so when I dumped that cup of water in there, that was the ticket. And I mean, it was almost kind of like a cake batter.
Oh yeah.
A little thicker than a cake batter. I mean, it was like really nice, really super smooth. You can see this here. Look at this. I mean, like, this is nice and malleable, right? And, again, Matt, Sandy Valley, great guy. Don't have anything against him. He makes a great product, you know, and I know that he's sent a lot of it out to people, but it's too much work. And this is just as, you know, so like when you're cooking it, you're inverting the sugar, right?
Yeah.
This powdered sugar is all, I mean, so let me back up here. So when you do mountain camp, because again, like a big mountain camp person, so when you do mountain camp, it's good, but they still need some type of moisture in order to convert that granulated sugar to something they can use, right, and not die. So the powdered sugar kind of eliminates that step, right? The powdered sugar is already kind of to the same state in which the inversion takes granulated sugar. So you really kind of eliminate that. And then when you're dumping honey in there, that's already kind of inverted. So, you know, and then you're putting some water in there. So, you know, that is what it is. But this 29 pounds of sugar made 22.5-pound patties of fondant. Super malleable. Everything that they need in there, everything, you know, it doesn't have seaweed extract like the Hive Alive or whatever, right? But okay, at the end of the day,
that wasn't me putting shade on.
Listen, I don't have any problem. I don't have any problems with any of that, right? My biggest problem is that I love beekeeping, right? I eat, sleep, drink, think about beekeeping all the time. I love beekeeping. It's just ridiculously expensive. So everywhere I can save, like the way I look at it is every penny I save on something I need to do is a penny I have to do something for the bees that they need, right? Versus something that I have to, I have to give up something in order to give this, for the bees and stuff like that. So I'm always looking for a way to save money on it. So Hive Alive cost me $7 a patty if it's a good day, right? This I made for $1.60 a patty. And
when are you planning putting that on your colony?
Oh, as soon as the Canadian weather retreats back up north of the border and I can get a decent day to, piss them off by making that loud pop and slipping it in. So I rolled this out super thin so that I don't need shims.
Yeah.
I have fairly deep, or fairly, I should say, fairly recessed inner covers. So I really feel like I rolled this out enough that I don't need to stick shims in there, because that just adds more time and stuff that I have the colonies open. But
have you tried leaving some out without the plastic to see if it dries out?
I haven't.
I wonder if it would, because you have the honey in there. Honey's hygroscopic.
Well, ultimately it would dry out, right? Ultimately it would dry out. So I could probably stick some here in the kind of like in the fold of the Ziploc, and I'm sure it would dry out. The question is,
I guess the water might evaporate off. The honey might absorb the moisture. It might keep it soft.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you don't have to use honey. You could use a really super thick.
Well, sure. Use syrup, yeah, or
a really super thick syrup if you wanted to. I just chose to use honey because it was super easy for me to run across the street to the store and grab a bunch of honey. But that's just what I chose to do. But I got the idea from. I had been looking for a way to do it for a long time. So I got the idea from a beekeeper. He's from Ukraine, but he lives in, I think, Michigan, maybe. Or whatever. And I saw a video from him, and then I think it was Minnesota Mike or whatever. He also talked about it the following year or whatever. And And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I need. So I sourced a mixer and the grain mill from China. Took 30 days to get it, on a ship or whatever, but I got it for a third of the cost of what it would have cost me to buy it from a U.S. supplier. So
God, I hate buying stuff from China. Gee
listen,
whiz,
I don't like buying stuff from China either. And
No, I understand. I have a honey pump I bought for China just as a backup too. And it's $2,200. Where the one I could have sourced here was $6,000 or $8,000. So I did the same damn thing. But
right, I mean, and unlike Canada,
you just feel like a prostitute when you do, though.
Okay, but listen,
like
just wait till I use it. It won't work when I need to use it.
You've been bought. Your price has been established. It's what you feel like. You just feel a little dirty while you're doing it.
I mean, in the U.S., there's a huge, like buy American all the time, right? It's like, okay, yes, and some of my fellow beekeepers who are American, and and I know that when the cameras are off and everything else, they're probably like, oh, that guy, unlikely beak guy, like he, but at the same time, every penny that I save is a penny that I can spend on my bees, and my bees are the ultimate most important thing to me. So I'm expanding this year. I'm expanding into 2 additional yards. These were, I was wanting to expand. First, I mean, I'll back up. Like, it took me 4 years to find somebody who said, yeah, bring your bees to my property. Right. So I used to have bees here at my house and on my property, until my local government came and said, yeah, you can't have bees anymore. And I was like, why not? And they were like, because we said so. And I was like, well, but there's an ordinance that says I'm allowed to have them. And they were like, yeah, but we don't like where you have them. And I was like, okay, well, I'll move them. And they were like, yeah, well, we looked at your property and we don't like where you have, like, we don't think there's anywhere on your property that we'd be comfortable with you having bees. And I was like, but there's a law that says I can have them. And they were like, yeah, but we're saying you can't. So either get rid of them, or we're going to come and get rid of them, and then we're going to send you a bill.
That's where I like out here, because there's nobody around me. I hardly have internet service. I put my bees wherever I want. That's
right.
Nice.
Exactly. So it took me, I searched.
You must have places around there that you could do the same.
Well, so like for 4 years I searched, and I literally, even sometimes I would I'd see a property and I'd be like, oh, this property is great, I'm going to stop. I walk up and I'm like, hi, I'm not a weird guy. I'm just, listen, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do. And I saw your property, and do you think, this is what I could do? Do you think I could put some bees here or whatever? And they're like, no, go, leave. And I'm like,
you know what you should do? I know a guy in Kelowna, and there's a lot of population in that area, and he puts bees within the urban area and on the countryside and everything. When he scouts for yards, he wears not just a bee suit, but a dirty bee suit. And he walks up to the guy's house, and they know he's a beekeeper because he's wearing a bee suit.
Gotcha.
And, he says, kind of put some bees here, and they more of a connection, more of familiarity. Then they don't think you're a weirdo. Well, as a beekeeper, I guess we all are a little bit, but at least they know you're a beekeeper looking for a place to land, and you might have a lot better luck that way.
I mean, I had a lot of doors slammed in my face. So about 4 years went by, no bees. I literally felt like a parent with a child on a milk carton somewhere, because I was just like, every spring that came and I didn't have bees, I felt like a piece of me was missing. And I just kept looking. And believe it or not, like, I was on vacation. I was on a cruise ship off the coast of the Dominican Republic, and I was just sitting there enjoying a lazy day, and I was on Facebook, and I saw this ad that was about 30 minutes from where I live, and it said that they were offering space for horse boarding. And I literally just sent them a message, and I said, I don't have horses, but I need a space. This is how I worded it. I need a space about as big as a refrigerator laying on its side for a couple of bee colonies. Would you be open to that? And they responded and said, yes. And I was like, I was like, ah! So anyway, so I went and saw the space. And then, of course, when I got there, they had this massive area. It's probably about a half an acre in size. the whole property is about 27 acres. And they said, this area here, it's about half an acre. All we do is mow it. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. And I was just like, am I being punked? Like, are there cameras coming in soon here or something like that? Like, I just couldn't believe it. So I was like, amazing, right? So, and they have been just the most amazing people. But
You pay them honey rent?
so yeah, so I pay them, so I give them honey. Now, last year I had, some people know this, some people don't. In June, I was in a car accident.
Hey, Joey.
I was rear-ended in a car accident. I messed up my back and I was unable to do some beekeeping. So I went ahead. So my bee yard suffered a little bit. So I didn't do as much honey as I wanted to. So I augmented their share with cash, and they were more than happy and grateful with it. So, but in any event, later in the year, I was down there one day. I was just kind of, I had some equipment that had some, I had done the honey harvest and I had the equipment back, and I thought I would just set it there and let them rob it out. And I was sitting there and a car pulled up and this woman said, hello, I'm so-and-so. And I live about 4 miles from here. And I used to have bees and I don't have bees anymore, but I would love to have bees on my property again. This is where I live. And if you would like, you can bring bees to my property. And I was just like, again, like waiting for the cameras to come out. I was like, where's this coming from? And then, about maybe 2 weeks later, my sister said that she was at lunch with her brother-in-law, and he had done some work for some people on a farm. It's a 50-acre farm about maybe 25 miles north of me. And they used to have bees, and they don't have bees anymore, and they want bees. And he said, and I would tell them about you. And I was like, that's perfect. And then they called me and I went up there and visited it. And they even said to me, we don't want anything. You can give us honey if you want, but we don't want anything. We just would love to have bees here. We have this space and everything else, and we would just love to have bees here. So I'm like,
I went on a local Facebook group here and I posted up, would anybody be willing to sponsor some hives on their property? And I had about 40 people come back within a day. Yeah, you can put some here, you can put some here. So if you're a member of your local community, it might be something you could do.
Listen, I did that, Bob. Let me tell you, it took me 4 years, and then now all of a sudden, now I have 2 additional spaces that I'm able to expand into. So I'm really super grateful for it. But it's ultimately going to come down to whether or not I'm able to do enough splits from my existing colonies in order to support those additional yards. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the spring. But, so I went into winter with 14 colonies. I was just down there not long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and everybody seemed to be fine. My whole regimen is I treat for mites year round, whether that be Apigard, formic acid, and oxalic acid. I treat constantly, regularly, I should say, making sure that, the mites are as low as they can be. And then I feed in the spring and I feed in the fall. So I do everything that I possibly can to support my bees. Up to this year, I always did mountain camp on top of all the feed, and I would feed my colonies until they couldn't take anymore.
Scott, what's the difference between a sugar brick and what you've done, other than you keep it in a bag to keep it soft?
Well, so this is easily digestible by the bees without any moisture. With a sugar brick, they're going to need water in order to break that granulated sugar down to something they can use. That's the difference. This is no different than Hive Alive fondant. The only difference is unlike Matt, who from Sandy Valley that cooks his in order to invert the sugar, the granulated sugar, I didn't cook it because I made the granulated sugar into powdered sugar. So, which is something that they can process.
But sugar and water is a sugar break.
Yes.
If you took your stuff out of
The sugar is harder. Like the granulated sugar is harder. So in order for them to break that down, they need additional moisture, almost kind of like to.
But when you take yours out of the bag, it's going to get hard too. Your water is going to evaporate.
Yes, and if you cook that, if you make fondant that you cooked, and you take it out of the bag, it's going to harden up as well. I mean, it's no different. I mean, fondant is.
I disagree with you on that one.
No, I mean, I've left a Hive Alive fondant patty open, and it hardened on me. Now, like, did it like could I break a window with it? No, but it hardened on me. So, so this, like I said, this year, super malleable. You know,
that's a lot like they make queen candy as well, powdered sugar.
So, you know, I mean, I don't know.
This is what I have left of Matt.
This is my first year making it. So
this is what I have left of Matt's right here.
Yeah,
I'm saving this for a little small colony if it makes it through the winter.
Gotcha.
I just pulled this out the freezer. I wanted Ian to see this. Look, I just pulled it out of the freezer, and it's very pliable.
Yeah.
You can mash it as thin as you need to get it under the cover.
Right.
And they'll actually take this down before it ever has a chance to even get dry.
Yeah, I mean, for my bees, fondant's almost kind of like, you know, it's almost kind of like crack to the bees. I mean, like they take it down super fast, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll take it down way faster than they take mountain camp sugar, right?
I had one of them so flat, I thought I was going to have to put a shim in there. And I went back in like 4 days, and I figured I'd have to open that little bag up some more because I just had a little X sliced under the bottom a little bit, and it had about that much exposed. And those little critters, somehow, as flat as that bag would get, they'd still crawl through there and get what they wanted and come back out.
Right.
So it's very pliable.
Yeah, I mean, so I would suspect that they would take this down before it would have a chance to harden up.
Now, in all actuality, I'm more like you, Scott. That to me is easier for me to do.
I mean, like literally, I dumped the sugar into the hopper. I turned it on. It took about 25 minutes or so to turn that into powdered sugar.
That's similar to a queen candy, isn't it, Scott?
What's that?
That's similar to a queen candy recipe.
Right.
Similar. Yeah. I mean, listen, right. I mean, I dumped it into the mixer. Then I dumped the honey in, I dumped a little bit of water in, I put some citric acid, some Honeybee Healthy in there. I put some Apis in, and I turned it on. It mixed for about 20 minutes. I pulled it out. I weighed it. It was about 2.5 pounds, put it into the bag, you know, sealed the bag, rolled it out. Here it is. Right. It's been sitting in my garage for maybe a week, you know, and it's, you know, again, super malleable, super, you know, I can literally smell the Honeybee Healthy coming through here on, you know, through the bag. So, you know, I mean, again, I'm not saying anything against Matt. I mean, I talked to a couple of people and people were like, well, you know, like, I don't care if somebody wants to spend time cooking their fondant, do it. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't make any difference to me. For me, I didn't want to spend the time doing it. I didn't want the trickiness of the, you know, the temperature and everything else. This seems super easy to me. You know, and some other people had already had success with it. You know, so I said, cool. And as fast as I've seen my colonies eat the Hive Alive fondant, you know, they're going to eat this in 2 weeks, maybe, right? Like they're going to eat this super fast. I mean, there's only going to probably be like a little strip of it along the sides and stuff like that, but the majority of this patty is going to be gone in 2 weeks.
Might be something good for my my melter honey that's that's been in the warmer too long.
Yeah, and it's, you know what, that's perfect for me, because if I have to make another batch, it takes me around an hour to make, 20 patties of this through my method, and I don't have to cook it or anything else, and then I'm sticking it in here and rolling it out, and I'm done, and then I'll just take it down and stick it in again. So
You don't want to feed overheated honey to bees, Bob.
no, definitely don't want to feed overheated, but anyway, this is just how I'm doing it. I don't begrudge anybody else doing it any other way they want it. I don't care. It's your bees. You do how you want to do it. This is my bees. This is how I'm doing it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to feed my bees sugar, right? One way or the other, whether it's syrup or fondant or mountain camp, right? One way or the other, I'm going to feed my bees sugar in addition to any pollen, that I feed them. So this is the way I'm going to feed them sugar in the winter. And, again, my first year, so I don't have any experience, but I know that other people have done it this exact way and they had really good results. So I'm trusting that I would have the same results that they have spoke about in their bees. And it, took me a fraction of the time, and it cost me $1.60 a patty versus $7 a patty from Hive Alive. So
yeah, that's it's a good price for sure. You said each one of those that's a gallon sandwich bag.
Yeah, this is a gallon bag. And it's about 2.5 pounds of fondant. So
now what would be the difference between doing it that way and grinding the sugar yourself, or just buying powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar?
Well, because if you buy powdered sugar in the store, a lot of times it will have cornstarch in it, or it may have some type of anti-caking.
The cornstarch is the anti-caking agent.
Yeah, right. So
we got a fondant off. There's Matt.
yeah. So for this,
Hey,
I don't have any. So for this, I don't have any cornstarch in it because it's just granulated sugar grounded into powder.
Into a powder.
Yeah. So that makes it more, that eliminates that granulated component of the sugar and makes it more digestible. For the bees. So
where'd he go? He disappeared.
Yeah.
But before we start getting into arguments about fondant and stuff like that, Bob, I've been dying to talk to you about your creamed honey experience. Right? I watch every live you do from the front yard. Unfortunately, I don't catch them live. So
I'm not to apologize to you, but if you see around after it's live, then that's on you.
But anyway, so but I'm very, very intrigued by your whole creamed honey experience. So I've only made like just regular creamed honey, right? So like I haven't made the flavors or anything like that. Yeah. And I've been researching the flavors. It seems like some people are using a flavored essential oil, and some people are using like a powder flavoring or whatever.
Favorite
powder, because I'm trying to take moisture out, not put moisture in.
So I've been experimenting a little bit with powders, and it seems like in order to, just in the experiments that I've been doing it in really small super batches, and I'm certainly not going to sell any of it, but the experiments that I've been doing, by the time I have added enough powder in order for you to even taste the flavor, the creamed honey is too gritty.
So I don't experience that with mine. I'm using just freeze dried organic fruit powder, right? It's nothing but so the moisture from the honey is actually hydrating the fruit. So I'm only using natural stuff, and I don't know what obviously don't know what you're using for yours, but every honey is going to be different, right? A lot of people try to nail me down. Well, how much of this you put in? How much of that? Well, my honey is going to taste different from your honey and Joey's and Matt's and Doug.
Right.
So I just flavor it to how it tastes good to me, because I look at it like this as far as the flavoring and the amount that I put in. If the bag costs me $20 for freeze-dried strawberry powder and I have to use the whole bag, it costs me $1. But I sell that 8-ounce jar, 8-ounce honey weight jar for $20 a pound. So I'm still making plenty of money on it, right? To make a high quality product. It's just a matter of a lot of times as I mix the flavoring in, I let that reconstitute, right? I'm not just dumping a bunch of flavor in right then. I might have to let it sit for 30 minutes and spin it, mix it twice and make sure it's very well incorporated so it doesn't separate out or you get a bunch of stuff floating on the top, right? Because it's a little thin. And as soon as I mix it in, I put it right in the chiller to help set it up. And then what I find is by the time I've sold it, it's almost like a wine. It seems to get better with time. That granulation, which I typically don't have, will disappear.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, but I mean, I'm using the freeze, like we'll take strawberry, for instance, right? Typically it's going to be a freeze dried powder, right? So, but like I said, by the time I feel like, and I think the baseline that I've been using is a teaspoon per 8 ounces or per cup, right? Of creamed honey. So it just feels like by the time I add enough of that to the creamed honey that I can even just barely taste any kind of strawberry flavor, the consistency of the creamed honey is too gritty to the point where I just feel like, is anybody going to want this like really gritty creamed honey? So, I mean,
how long do you keep mixing it after you put it in?
Well, like, so I'm doing, again, this is based on what I think Bob is doing based on what I've heard him saying. So like after I'm taking the creamed honey out of the creamer, I'm doing small batches in just a mixer, right? So maybe 10 minutes, like, making sure
you need to do it. You may
really super low, like the lowest speed with a paddle, right? And just making sure that it seems like it's completely incorporated into the.
You're probably going to need to go longer than after you put it in there. I think.
Okay.
Longer.
Well, like, so how are you doing it, Joey?
I hadn't done much flavored honey. I'm doing creamed honey.
Okay.
I've talked to a lot of people that cream it, and I don't know how Bob does it, how long he goes, but I know a couple of people go another 24 hours or so.
Really?
That's not even hard set yet.
Yeah. Right.
And I mean, it's nice and smooth. It's got some air bubbles on the top of it, but other than that, that's nice lemon honey. And
okay, so like Bob, how long are you putting it in the mixer in order to incorporate the flavoring?
How long am I putting it into my KitchenAid?
Yeah, so you're putting in your KitchenAid in order to incorporate the flavoring, right?
Yeah, I'll mix it, and I don't measure. I maybe that's my German mom from the way she cooks, but I don't measure the flavoring, right?
What we're talking about, Bob, is how long after you put the flavor in it do you keep blending it?
It might be 15 or 20 minutes. So
that's all you go?
Yeah, see, that's all. That's what I mean. I was only doing like maybe like 30 minutes because it looks like it's really. I mean, again, I'm just experimenting with it now, so I'm using like a really small amount, Joe. Like I'm using like 8 ounces of creamed honey, and I'm just putting a couple of teaspoons of the flavoring in there, and then I'm watching it. And it really looks like it's completely distributed. I mean, when it's strawberry, I mean, it gets this kind of like red tint to it, right? I mean, it really looks like it's completely distributed through that. And then I'm tasting it and I'm just like, okay, well, I can't really taste the strawberry. Like I'm really only tasting the honey still, right? It looks red, it looks strawberry kind of, but I'm really not tasting it. And then so I'm adding more in, tablespoon at a time, mixing it. And then by the time I really feel like I'm tasting the strawberry, it's also like super gritty. And I'm like, nobody's going to want this.
I did about 2,000 pounds of cinnamon. I mix it. 5 minutes later, it goes into the chiller and stays there for 3 days. Simple.
So,
Bob, is Ian trying to come in?
I've only got room for 6 in here.
And if Ian wants to come back in.
Oh, I don't think he was. He said he was listening.
Because I'd like for Matt to explain to him, if he's got time to hear it, how he does his inverted honey, because he seemed interested in it.
So this is strawberry in this hand.
Yeah.
And that's espresso. See how it's brown tint, espresso.
Yeah.
And then that's lemon pepper. And let's see if we could. That's raspberry and that's strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have mine doesn't get grainy, and it might be that you're trying to do too small of a batch at one time. That might be a thing. I mean, about the smallest batch I make will jar about 6 of these jars, right?
Okay.
So, and that's pretty standard. Some flavors like this, I'll make like 18 of them at a time, right? So it just depends on what flavor you're trying to make. But I don't. Feel free to. I mean, you can message me. I'll tell you who I get my flavors from. I mean, it's on Amazon. Anybody can buy them. It's typically Anthony's brand.
Okay.
That's who I normally get them from. All right, Matt, take it away. Ian's ushering you in and giving me the hook.
All right. If Ian tries to come in, just kick me out. I'll stay in the chat.
I didn't know I was going to get put on the spotlight tonight. Sorry, I was eating tacos when I.
Well, we needed your experience because Ian was asking about the inverted kind, how to make it and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I started off making small batches, 5-pound batches, 10-pound batches, and really just came into figuring out temperatures and the least amount of temperature needed to be able to invert the sugars. A softball state is what we're going for. So that's a temperature range between 234 and 240 Fahrenheit. And that basically gets achieved with heat. So the only, I guess I'd say gentle heat, intentionally heating the sugar under a controlled environment to be able to break that long, stubborn chain of sucrose down into the simple sugars, let's call it. So the inverted part at that point. So once it reaches that softball state, the sugars are actually inverting. At that point, you're doing it due to heat, but there's also a low acidity with a 5% white vinegar that's used. So the only thing we use in our fondant is water, sucrose, and 5% white vinegar, and in certain ratios, cooked at a certain amount of temperature for a certain amount of time. So, we started by using 5 and 10 pound batches, getting our consistency right. And then now we're running. Well, we're making about a couple 100 pounds a day right now. We're out, almost shipping out orders as fast as we can make it. So it's a good thing, but it's also an extremely intentional way that I've found to be able to feed our bees, and trying to grow a self-sustainable operation from the ground up. Bees paying for everything. That just fit into it because I couldn't afford to feed. Just let's call it a store-bought fondant. I think we have to be careful, Scott. Just not trying to critique you, sir, but we have to be careful mentioning what our products are and what our products aren't.
Well, I'm not selling it, Matt.
No.
I'm
I know
feeding
you're not
my
selling
own.
it.
I'm feeding my
What I'm
own
saying
bees.
is you
I'm
did say
feeding
that
my
yours
own
was.
bees in a really
You,
cheap way
hold on,
that doesn't
Scott. You
require
had
me
said that yours
spending
was exactly like
$7
Hive
Scott,
Alive.
at for
Scott,
Hive.
Scott,
I'm
Scott,
sorry.
you've had the last 45 minutes, Scott. Let Matt talk, okay?
Sure.
Scott, what I was mentioning is you have to be careful saying that your product is exactly like Hive Alive. That can't be true because your product's not called Hive Alive and it's not made by a multi-million-dollar corporation. So what you might be producing is a cold fondant or a
It is
honey
a cold fondant.
fondant.
It is a cold
What?
fondant.
So is that how long does it take you to produce? Let's say 20 pounds of cured fondant.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, I made 22.5 pound patties in under an hour.
Okay.
So, like that was milling the granulated sugar into a powdered sugar, putting it into the mixer, adding all the other stuff to it, and letting it mix to it was the consistency that I wanted it.
Yeah. And I think
had to pull it out and
the goal
measure it.
for everyone really is to be able to create what we feel is a premium overwintering feed that helps our pocketbook, but also most importantly is the best feed that we can come up with for our, as we say, our livestock, our assets, our units that we're trying to keep alive over winter. With our insulated covers that we use, our girls are taking down fondant at a rate probably maybe half a pound to a pound a week. It just depends. There's some hives that have had 4 packs replaced already. But mostly the highest consumption on those is really the smallest hives, probably that have the least amount of stores, which is kind of surprising because the monster hives, let's call them the stout hives, they really are a lot more particular about it. And surprisingly, the cooler the weather gets, the less of it they eat. But that being said, we're just trying to create the best overwintering feed that we can, given our practice and what we've tried to come up with. So I wasn't trying to argue with you or anything. I just did hear
No,
you
listen,
say
I'm
that
not trying to argue with you either, Matt. I
I know.
respect
But
you.
I'm just trying to help out. I have to be
You're a
careful
great
too
guy.
because
I've watched your content. I'm not trying to argue with anybody.
I know
I'm
you're
trying
not.
to say is that I spent $7 a patty for my colonies last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in the beginning, every penny that I save in not paying these absorbent prices for things, right,
Yeah.
is a penny that I have for my bees, right? Whether that
Absolutely.
be more equipment or anything else that I need for them. I
Yeah.
am not trying to argue this either, right?
Oh,
And
I know.
And for clarity's sake, and that's why I said in the beginning, I have nothing against you. If you want to cook your fondant, cook it. Right?
I hope you don't, Scott. You don't even know me.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I said that in the beginning. I was like, because I've had a couple of people come to
I
me
can
and
shake
say,
your hand and
well,
not
are
be-
you trying to say your fondant is better than Matt's? And I was like, I'm trying to say that my fondant costs less than Hive Alive. That's all I'm trying to say. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to say anything about Matt.
I mean, to
If
give
Matt
an
wants to
idea
cook his
on price,
fondant, people
we're-
are like,
we're-
well, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? I'm like, because I'm just doing what I'm trying to feed my bees sugar, right?
Yeah.
So I fed them as much syrup as they would take before it got too cold to keep syrup on the colonies. And then after it was too cold, I normally do mountain camp. And then I just, cross my fingers and Who lives and who doesn't, right? Because where I'm at, I'm not going to really get a chance to get back into my colonies until maybe middle of February.
Here, I'm just
Right.
going to jump in here for a second. Matt, how long do you let your the sugar as you're heating it up? How long do you let it sit at the 230?
So at the 234 to 240, I'll leave that sit for 20 minutes at a soft boil, basically. And it's just
Is that really important to have that time? That 20?
you know, I think it just further helps to invert the sugars. And it's hard for me. I'm not a chemical engineer. You know, I'm basically just a struggling beekeeper trying to make ends meet. You know, if you want to call it that. So I don't know the percentage of it, but I know that in the end, the consistency is spot on for what we're going for with feeding it. And I think that some of that has to do with the longevity of the softball temperature that's achieved with that. So right after that 20 minutes of softball temperature, I'll immediately put it into a cold water bath to bring that temperature down. And as soon as it gets to about 150 degrees, that's when I'll mechanically whip it with a ribbon mixer. You know, I'll use it for tile and grouting, but just with a Milwaukee drill. It's a 4-inch ribbon mixer. And I can go and grab it and show you, but that just gets whipped and it literally turns that sucrose. What you're creating with that inverted sugar, you are literally creating sugar honey. So when you cool it down in your cold water bath, it is a golden, same consistency as honey. I mean, spot on, probably a five, pretty close to a 5-to-1 sugar to water ratio. So extremely heavy as far as that goes, easy to store. Bees draw comb off the bags, you know, in December, which is kind of a rare thing to do. If they're drawing comb underneath the bags and attaching the bags to the top bars or to the feeder shim, my feeling is they're able to do hive, maybe some hive cleaning or some sort of hive maintenance, you know, given the added resources at that time of year that otherwise wouldn't be there.
How
So
important is the whipping part of it during the cool down?
extremely, because that turns it from, I'll show you here, but it turns it from basically that clear, a clear sugar fondant or clear sugar honey to almost like an opaque, kind of like a pudding. And that pudding is what, after a time when it cools down, it'll actually keep form. And so that after it cools down into a block, you're able to mash it into a plastic bag, or you could take wax paper and do the same thing like a pollen patty. And as long as you had something kind of covering up that fondant to keep it from drying as much, that I think would be key. Now you don't have to. What you're doing by cooking it that amount of time is you're creating a super hydrated solution. So you're basically super absorbing all of that water. You're actually in a 30-pound batch of sugar fondant, you're gaining 5 pounds of water weight. So not all of the water that you put into that mix will cook off. So it's not like you're not making hard candy, or you're not scorching those sugars at all. You're stirring it fairly often with intention while you're heating it for sure. And then once it's off the heat, it's just to watch the temperature drop and get it out when it's about 150 and start whipping it.
So after you prepare it, after it whips, what if you made a ball and just left it and let it dry out? What kind of does it harden like a rock?
Yep. It would, not like a rock. It would still be more like a soft sugar brick is what it turns into.
Okay.
One of the things about the whipping, though, I think it constitutes a little bit of air into it. So as it cools down, it kind of whatever it does with it, it kind of helps hold the form, in shape. I got a 35-pound block here. I'll show you.
Because if it's going inverted, it'd make it hygroscopic, right? It'd be attracting
Yes.
moisture. Yeah.
So that's kind of hard to see.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that's literally just formed into a cardboard box, basically, is the form.
Can you drive a knife through that?
Oh yeah, you could cut it. You could cut it with a sharp knife, easy.
And it wouldn't be flaky. It's just kind of like the soft cake like.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
just be able to pull a little bit off if you wanted.
Oh yeah, boy. It's maybe I might try some. I just want to be a lot of baking, a lot of cooking.
It is.
We won't do it on the stove in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's where I started. That's where I started until I found out. The wife kicked me outside. So, but yeah, so now we're using turkey fryers, to be honest. So we have volume.
Oh
And,
yeah.
That to be honest, I could make the ratio for my recipe is consistent with depending. It doesn't matter how big of a batch you'd want to do. You just be limited on the amount of time or the amount of I guess be able to lift it. So a 50-pound batch would kind of get a little, it'd get heavy for sure, to be able to pour it out
Just
into
a
the form.
question: instead of adding water to the mix at the start, if you added like a sucrose syrup, would that be a problem? Do you think by adding an inverted sugar to it, or do you want to start it from a water based mix?
I don't know that answer. I've never tried anything other than water and just pure sugar. So we are using a finer, I guess it's finer granulated sugar. It's not. It is table sugar, but it is fine granulated, is what it's termed. So
But
I would think your sucrose syrup should work.
your product has undergone a chemical change, has it not, Matt?
yes. Yeah, with that heat, you're literally you're flipping that stubborn long chain molecule sucrose, and you're literally, and then the other part, you're breaking the camel's back when you whip it. So the temperature is inverting everything. The acid also starts the inversion, but it's a low acidity. It's only I don't even know the percentage of amount, but it's less than, I'm just going to throw a number out there. It's about a 20th of the water to sugar ratio. So very low on the acidity, but that does help start the inversion process.
Good deal. Well, I appreciate all that feedback. I got to run here, but I might reach out to you. I had another guy reach out to me with the recipe too, but if I run into a snag, I might reach out to you if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. Be happy to help.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
See the can of worms you opened, Ian?
Yeah.
Comes in and then leaves.
Boom.
So here's another one that I did today. It's peanut butter and jelly creamed honey, strawberry honey, peanut butter creamed honey in the same container. So this one's been in the freezer for a little bit.
Joe, you want to come back in?
Oh, I can add him. He doesn't have his
I got your back. I got your back. Should we trust him with no camera?
I don't know. There he is. No.
Last time,
Todd might want to come in the house. I can back up again.
But yeah, this is
hadn't seen him on a while.
You're a gentleman, Joey.
Pretty smooth creamed honey. Back to that topic. But I ruined it when I...
Hey, and I'm going to ask you proportions here, and I know you're going to say I don't know, but if you give me a ballpark, Bob, to make the peanut butter honey, what's the ballpark of honey to powder?
These things.
He probably
Louisiana teaspoon.
I start mixing it. If it doesn't taste like peanut butter, I add more.
And I mixed it one time. I put way too much peanut butter powder. It turned into cement.
So you only go about 15 more minutes, huh, Bob, when you're flavoring it? So you
but if I'm making a really large batch where I've kind of since stopped using the gated pail to jar things for creamed honey. But when I was doing that, if I was making a large batch where I was doing like 2 mixing bowls, well, those 2 mixing bowls are going to taste different. Even if it's a little bit, they're going to taste different. So I'd put both bowls into the gated pail, and then I would mix them inside the gated pail to make it one consistent flavor across all of it. And it's worked really well. I haven't had the granulation issue I use for the peanut butter. I use a product called Naked Peanut Butter or Naked PB. It's just powdered peanuts. That's it. Finally,
So,
powdered.
Bob, so when you pick a flavor, how what's your average volume that you're mixing? So, like, let's say you pick strawberry, right? How much strawberry are you mixing at a time? 6 pounds, 10 pounds?
Well, strawberry is a good seller, so I'll do like 2 quarts, so probably 6 pounds.
Okay.
Because it's like a 2-quart mixing bowl.
So,
right?
okay, so then in 6 pounds, how much of that flavoring are you adding?
Well, to give you an example, on my lemon, I'll use a whole like 12 ounces. I mean,
6 pounds. So 12 ounces of lemon powder, like freeze-dried lemon powder, to 12 ounces of creamed honey.
no, to 6 pounds. 2 quarts is like 6 pounds, right? So
yeah.
But I wouldn't. I'll tell you now, if you measure it, it's going to be wrong. So don't.
Well,
I'm telling you, taste, mix, taste, mix, taste, mix. That's the only way to get it.
Yeah, you can't take it out.
No,
So-
yeah, you can't take it out once it's done.
yeah. I mean, like I said, so far my experiments have not been yielding me like something like, oh, this is great, and I'm going to try to sell this. So, I'm going to keep playing around with it until I, hopefully
Well,
find.
Knock on wood. Luckily enough, the powders that I get to make the creamed honey, they're very fine powder, right? Very fine powder. So I don't have
What are
any.
you using, Scott?
Like I'm just
brand wise.
Are you sure it's not your honey that's granulating, Scott?
No, I mean, my honey is like 16% moisture. So
It'll still granulate.
yes, but I mean, like it doesn't look granulated. I should say that, right? Like, and I'm, I mean, it looks fine. And I was testing the moisture before I put it in the creamer, and it was 16%. So I dumped it all in there and let it cream, and then I creamed it for about 90 hours or so in the creamer, and then and it was like normal creamed honey, and I'm using Cox as my my seed, which is what I think a lot of people are using. And then
when I cream, I'm using canola honey. It'll granulate real quick.
Yeah.
But it's in the creamer for three full days. Not.
Well, so like if I taste the normal, just the regular creamed honey without any flavoring in it, I mean, it tastes normal. It's smooth, and it doesn't have any grittiness to it or anything like that. I mean, the crystal sizes seem normal, right, for creamed honey. So it's only after I take again, I'm playing around. I want to find the right mix. So when I pull it out of there,
can you see how fine that powder is?
Yeah, and that looks about what I'm using.
And so if it's that,
and I'm just buying my stuff off of Amazon as well. So
right, but I'm just saying that it doesn't even feel grainy when it's in raw form. So how can it feel grainy in the honey?
Yeah.
So
I mean, literally, that is the question that I'm asking myself.
Even
the KitchenAid.
I brought the.
I think I'd just try mixing it a little longer.
Anthony's organic lemon juice powder.
Okay, Bob, how many different flavors of creamed honey do you do?
Probably 15.
Dead gum. And strawberry is your best seller?
Lemon.
I figured, I love lemon. I figured lemon would be up there too.
Lemon. A lot of people say that cinnamon is their best seller. It has not been mine. Now, could it be? Maybe if I told people about it more, right?
I definitely tell them about cinnamon when I got it around one of my granddaughters, my middle granddaughter. I can't let her see it; it'll disappear.
But the thing I like about creamed honey is you're limited to your imagination on I mean, when I was in Canada, I had a dill pickle creamed honey, guys. Dill flavored. I was like, I would have never thought. James on here said, "Hey, lemon pepper is the way to go. That's his #1 seller." I was like, well, that doesn't even sound good to me, right? But I made it. It sold.
All right, your top 3 sellers. What are your top 3 sellers?
My top of creamed honey, mine.
Yeah.
Right now, if we took today, it would be bourbon vanilla, peanut butter and jelly, and lemon are my top 3 sellers at the moment.
Okay.
So
That lets me know where I want to start.
Well, thank you, Joseph, for your super chat. I appreciate that. 80 people here. I bet you we got a whole 5 thumbs up on the video too.
They were all here for the fight. So, so the thing, my reconnaissance at markets, what I found was vanilla creamed honey, espresso creamed honey, and strawberry creamed honey. So that's what I found most of the other people who were selling at markets in my area that were selling. I don't obviously know how much they were selling.
Well, I am the creamed honey guy here. And I think in the whole state of South Carolina, I am the creamed honey guy. There is no, and that's coming from other people. We've never seen that before.
I mean, I've been listening to I've been watching your lives for weeks, and I mean, you're just talking about creamed honey, and I'm just like, okay, and I'm seeing your lives that you're doing from out front at your stand, and I know what my results are in trying to perfect a recipe, for lack of a better way of putting it, and
just remember, it doesn't have to taste good to you. It has to taste good to them.
Right. But I mean, like when I stick strawberry creamed honey in a jar and I put a label on it that says strawberry creamed honey, I expect that the people who buy it and taste it are going to taste strawberry.
Right.
So obviously I'm looking for a strawberry flavor, and even if it's just a light taste of strawberry, like obviously I don't want it to be like,
right. So when I first started, I was trying to be very true to the honey, right? Mm-hmm. Where I was trying to get that light flavor where, okay, you taste the strawberry, but you still taste the honey.
Right. That's what I'm kind of looking for.
But then I wisened up, and if somebody's looking to pay for $20 a pound, in my case, for creamed honey, and they're buying a strawberry, by God, they want to taste strawberry, right? Mm-hmm. So it just kind of, I just started getting more, putting more flavor in it as we gone, because the cost really is not hugely different. Hey, I'm glad you got your order. You were down in Florida, right? Did you? I was worried about that. He ordered some lemon creamed honey down in Florida, and I don't know how it shipped and made it. And if it did, it might have turned all the way back to liquid honey. I have no idea by the time it got down to Orlando. But
Can I just say something to Mike real quick? So yes, I am heating my honey up to about 120 degrees for about 20 minutes before I put it into the creamer to make sure that I melt any crystallization that might be in there. Although the honey that I'm using to make my creamed honey is at about 16% moisture, so I'm not anticipating there really being a whole lot of crystallization in there, but I am putting it in a water bath of about 120 degrees before I put it in the creamer.
When I make mine, I just pull it off my bottling tank, right? Whatever my bottling temperature is, and then I let it get back to room temperature.
Yeah.
And then I dump it in. And my creamer has been running since the day I got my creamer. It's literally been on and turning with creamed honey.
Yeah.
The whole time. So when I pull some off, I typically just add more honey to it and let it keep going.
Right. So like I'm listening to your lives and I'm kind of deducting from what I'm hearing from you. And then I'm asking myself, well, it seems like I'm doing the same thing. So what the blank am I doing wrong? Right.
Well,
Like
it could just be the honey too, right? Like Doug says, I mean, they got canola, right? So canola crystallizes really quick and will set up. My honey will not do that. I mean, matter of fact, to the point that I had to order more seed off of the internet because it was just in my cabinet. It's still soft. I mean, it's thick because it's cold, but it's soft, right? So I brought it back in, mixed more creamed honey with it to get it to set.
So Scott, before anything that just your regular creamed honey is good and smooth, it's only doing that when you put the flavors.
Yeah,
in.
so this, well, you probably can't see it, Joey. It's here though, right? Yes, but yes, my regular creamed honey is perfect.
Then nothing should change.
I listen, like I'm you see, like I pulled all my hair out.
What, you don't know what brand you were using of powder or whatever?
Hold on, I'll be right back.
He's going again.
Oh, he said he's gonna go. I guess
I think he needs to try a different flavor, a different brand or something.
Yeah, I mean, certain things I do expect to have a little texture to, like when I had lemon pepper in
or
there.
Just blend longer, you know.
Yeah.
If I left my creamer run 7 to 10 days, Bob, I'd have to use a shovel to get it out.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've never used that particular brand, but maybe here's an idea. Since you have that grinder, maybe run the powder through the grinder one time if it's clean. You know, run it through and get it even finer if you need to.
I mean, I would certainly be willing to try that, but
now I used the like Jungle Powders, I think it was the brand of peach, and it still had chunks of, like you could see chunks of peach in the creamed honey. So, but other than that, it was smooth.
Yeah, I mean, like I can't get my mind around it. Like I'm trying to figure out. Like
I'm also wondering if your flavoring may be weak.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say?
Yeah, no. I thought that too, right?
Not as flavorful as it should be, and you're having to put so much more powder in there.
Yep.
I put with the peanut butter. I know Brad just asked this question, but with the peanut butter, I feel like I'm putting too much in it because when it's mixing in the mixer, it does tend to look like a doughy form for just a few minutes, and then that hydration happens, and then it just turns creamy and liquid.
Yeah. I mean, so like, well, I appreciate your insight on it, but like, I'm still.
Yeah, don't give up, man. Keep trying.
Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, like my plans for this year, well, for 2025 were put on hold when I was in a car accident. So, but my whole plan was, you know, I applied for a limited food establishment license through my state because I live in Pennsylvania. So anybody doesn't know, Pennsylvania is an extremely highly regulated state, right? So our legislature has been controlled by Republicans for probably 30 years, but for some crazy reason, we kind of flip-flop back and forth between Republican and Democrat governors. But regardless of who's in control of this, that, or whatever, our state is extremely regulated. We can't even walk down the street without a license. So in any event, I applied for a license. I got the license. I got inspected. I got the license. And that's what I needed in order to be able to sell my product away from my house. So so my idea was that I would go to markets and try to build a brand and everything else. And I've spent a lot of money on just different things. But in any event, I was in a car accident, couldn't do it. My bee yard suffered. I lost a lot of colonies just because I couldn't be there to manage them. Moving forward, I hopefully for 2026, I'm going to be able to go to markets and, you know, and try to do stuff. But obviously I'm trying to do everything I can to, you know, perfect flavors and offer more than just standard honey. So I'm trying to do different things, and it's not so far working out well. And I really feel like markets here are going to start around March. So I really feel like, I'm kind of starting to come under a gun a little bit, because I really don't have that much time to not only perfect a recipe, but then make it and develop a label for it and everything else. So I'm really just trying to work on all that.
This cream honey's been sitting on my desk for over a year. I mean, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one right here.
It's still delicious.
This was last February's. I'm using it for seed right now. All these that were up here, that was February's.
Oddly enough, it kind of tastes like raisins, though. Not so much blackberries to me, but that's
Can you
me.
eat it open?
Oh, that's the other thing, my tester jar. So I always make a...
So, Joey, did you make that?
Yeah.
And how did you make it? Like, you put it in a creamer and just creamed it?
Well, yeah, I've got a mixer. It's a regular mixer.
Oh, so like a KitchenAid mixer, like a kitchen mixer. Okay.
Yep.
So how long did you cream that?
3 days.
Okay.
I have went longer, but it seemed like 3 days works best, because you can see the color change when you first put your seed in, and it takes 3 days to get to this color, and then it just stops getting any lighter.
Yeah.
Now, what color was your honey when it started? Was it
well,
lighter one or a darker one?
As soon as I put my seed in, it starts turning kind of a golden kind of color. This is some right here. My bowl was just a little bit too full, and I had to take a little out, and that's what it looks like after like first 5 minutes of mixing the seed. And I said, I'm just going to leave that sitting on my table and see if it'll finish. It's been sitting here 2 weeks just like this. It's still a little runny.
So that's kind of what I do when I flavor it. Whatever, like I'll fill up as many jars all the way that I can, and whatever's left, that little half jar becomes my taster, my sampler for the customer. But
yeah. So Joey, are you selling
I've
a lot
never
of that,
made any creamed honey.
I can't really find a market for it here. Now I don't do farmers markets, because there's none close enough to me that's big enough to sit around, But I make it every year about just before Christmas, and I'll give it to my regular customers that I have during the year. I may change that. I may try to start driving a little farther away and see if I can do some good at a bigger farmers market or something.
I saw some guy on one of your Saturday lives. I don't remember his name, and I don't think I ever saw him before on your Saturday lives. And he was talking about how he can't keep creamed honey on his table. That everybody in his area just keeps buying it up as fast as he can make it. Mike
Berry.
No. Yeah, it wasn't obviously Mike Berry, but I don't remember the guy's. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but I just remember seeing that.
I know Flower Street there. Brian sells a lot of it.
Yeah, he does sell a lot of it. Yep.
Yeah, for me,
somebody making that comment.
Like Bob Walker sells a lot of it too. So
yeah, well, but that hadn't always been the case, right? It's kind of went from Joey to where it is now, right? There's not a market till I explained it to enough people and let enough people taste it.
And that's the thing I keep hearing. Like, people need, like, it's a relatively new product to people, and they don't understand what it is. And once they understand what it is, they buy it, right?
His name wasn't Jeff, was it, Scott?
Might have been.
We got Jeff Thomas. Sometimes when he comes on, his title will be Annabees, because that's the name of their company. Annabees.
Yep. I mean, listen, Joey, I've been watching you for like.
They sell a lot.
It seems like I've been watching you for like 10 years, right? So like, I don't ever remember seeing him before or after that one time. So, and it wasn't that long ago that he was on there.
He's not far from me. He's in Mississippi, but they do move a lot of creamed honey. He's also the one that does those honey spoons.
Yeah,
They
because
sell out
like
them all the time
Bob
too.
said one time, right?
That's what I
Like
want to know how to do.
Bob said if all you have on your table is runny honey, you're probably not going to sell much honey. Or he said something to that effect.
You're
Maybe that's-
losing money. It's
Yeah, maybe
basically
that's
you're
not
losing money on
exactly
the
how he
table,
said it,
right?
but- and I agree. So I've been trying to develop, like I have a jalapeno honey that I've been making.
Yeah.
That's just a regular normal runny honey, but it's infused with jalapeno. That's been selling kind of okay. Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you just gotta get people to taste it and it'll take off. I mean, and then now it's gotten to where when I first started, I was making like 15 of every jar, right? So my whole refrigerator out on my porch was just full of these flats of jars. And now I'm down to like 2 or 3 flats where I had to start. But instead of that, now I have a good idea of what's selling more. So instead of making 15, I'll make 6. Right? Or something like that.
So Bob, what you do, you make a big batch. You got the creamer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you make a big batch, and then you just pull out what you want, a certain amount, and flavor it this, and another certain amount, and flavor it that.
So today, like I would go to my creamer, pull off 2 quarts or a quart of in my stainless steel bowl.
I'm glad I heard you say that.
Flavor it. See, Mike Berry, when he makes his, he dumps his flavoring right in his creamer, but he's only doing one
whole
flavor.
batch.
he's only making one flavor, right?
Yeah.
But here's the other thing: if he does regular creamed honey and cinnamon, well, now he's got to drain the whole thing. He's going to have to clean it. He's going to have to fill it back up with honey and more seed and redo it again. Where if he pulled off what he was going to do and cinnamon, just that he was going to do with cinnamon,
yeah, I like
then
that.
he could do both of them.
That's a
So
good idea.
that allows me to
That's
do.
also another good excuse to buy a creamer.
It lets me do. I could do basically infinite amounts as long as I have creamed honey to do it with.
So, like, I'm sure everybody can see this kind of black refrigerator back here behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, it's just a black square. So I'm to the point now where I have like teeny tiny little like 2-ounce jars in there, right? Like I'm
those little ones
with these tiny little batches of flavors that I'm trying, and then I'm gonna hand those out and just say, tell me what you think of it, because I'm to the point where I'm trying, I'm trying to get somebody to say, I liked that and I would buy it again if you had a bigger jar of it, right? So, and I've got 3 flavors in there. I've got marshmallow, coconut, and vanilla. So
vanilla should do really well. I've never tried the other 2, so I don't know. But what I find here is it might be a South thing, Joey. The fruit flavors do well because they could envision using that in a tea or something like that. Cinnamon should do well. I just don't push it very much. But as far as the fruit flavors, it's kind of like whatever I want to push that day, I could move if I wanted to. Oh, what's your favorite? Today, my favorite is blackberry. Why? Because I got a lot of blackberry.
So I made a small batch of pumpkin spice, obviously in the pumpkin spice kind of time, October, November, and I only made like 6 jars of it. They were 6-ounce jars. I sold one. And that person told me the only thing they did with it was put it in their coffee, and they loved it in their coffee.
Yep.
And that if I had more next year during the pumpkin spice time, they would buy more. But the only thing they did was put it in their coffee. But I felt like when I taste tested it, that it was too gritty.
Yeah, well, it's going to melt anyway.
Right, into coffee. But like if I were to spread it on a muffin or something like that or whatever, I think that I might have found that it was too gritty.
I'm going to play around after, well, it's probably in January sometime. I'm going to play around with the flavors a little bit. And if I get fairly good at it, I may try to maybe next October make me some eggnog flavor and see what it does.
That would be an interesting flavor as well.
Yeah,
I mean, one of the benefits,
I may love it, nobody else might not.
I mean, kind of the shtick that I give people when they come up and they're asking about creamed honey, because again, I'm in South Carolina. It's hard to keep it creamed on the table, right? Because it gets hot. So I just tell them, I said, look, I haven't added anything to this honey. All the sweetness is from the honey, and the fruit flavor is just freeze dried fruit. That's it. Nothing extra, right? And and that seems to help out. Plus, just getting them to taste it. I mean, you get them to taste it. Let them decide it's too grainy, right? Don't make the decision for them, because otherwise you'll be sitting there for a long time. I've tasted other people's creamed honey and I've thought they've been grainy, right? But that could just be me and a texture thing, right? So I just do what I.
Well, I appreciate the information, and I will certainly take that.
Reach out to me if you need. I mean, my number's posted everywhere. You can Google Walker Bee Ranch, get my phone number, and we can definitely talk about it if you want to.
So, like, if you wouldn't mind, if I could just say something to the community. Listen, I talked about making this fondant a week or so ago on either Shindo, either Bees All Day or Charlie, some of Charlie's.
It's the same show. It's just on 2 different nights of the week.
I talked about it briefly. I didn't mention much about it, but I talked about it, and the amount of comments and emails that I received afterwards really astonished me. It was almost kind of like as soon as I talked about it, everybody was like, literally, I didn't receive any encouraging or positive emails. Everybody just, I received a lot of attacking messages and a lot of
from our community
emails. Yes, that's why I said everybody was here for the fight tonight, because like, I'm astonished at how many people attacked me, insinuating, and I even went back through and watched the chat, and I thought, I watched the live, and I thought, I don't remember saying anything negative about Matt from Sandy Valley, other than the fact that I just decided that I found a recipe that I didn't need to cook, and I said,
for you.
Hallelujah, I don't need to cook it, because when I first decided that I might want to try to make fondant to save money over the exorbitant price of buying it, I said, I'm not sure if I'm ready to cook it, because it just seems like it's so difficult. Now, maybe some people don't find it difficult to hold it at that temperature, or, they don't feel intimidated by the process of cooking fondant or making candy boards or anything else, but I always did. So I, used Mountain Camp because it just was easier, and I never, and I bought fondant from time to time. So I really did not.
There's plenty of people I know of that make it just like you make it.
Yeah, I did receive. I did see some people say, you know what, I used that same recipe and it worked fine for me. But at the same time, the majority of the people really were very negative and very attacking to me. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I did not do any of this. I didn't say anything that I said to be negative towards anybody else in the community that does anything that they do for their bees. I was just simply looking for a way to feed my bees that didn't cost me more than I was comfortable with paying, especially as I expand and as my apiaries grow. It's just, if I had to buy fondant, it would cost me even more, right? So I was just looking for a way to do it. Based on my experience, I know that the bees eat fondant really super fast, and I will find out this year whether or not they eat this fondant or don't. But everybody that I have talked to that has made fondant exactly the way I have made it say that the bees eat it super fast, just like I've seen my bees eat Hive Alive. And as a result, I think that I think that will, save me some money. And for me, this is what I'm doing. Mike Berry always says, this is how I do, right? And that's all I really meant by any of this, is that this is just really how I'm doing it, right? For me. And if somebody else is doing it another way, great. I never intend to make this product and sell it ever. I just intend to make this for my own bees, and that's all that I intend to do. So if anybody feels
I was listening to him.
coming down on anybody else in the community, I am very, very sorry if anybody felt like that's what I was saying. I really did not mean it. I love the community. I enjoy watching everybody's videos, and everybody knows as a beekeeper, the age-old, agiom that if you ask 10 beekeepers, you ask 100 beekeepers, whatever the variety is, you'll get more answers than you asked. So that's all it really comes down to. And I'm really sorry if I made anybody feel like I was attacking or putting down anybody else in the community. I wasn't. I was simply sharing that what I felt was an easier way to feed your bees sugar.
All right, guys. Well, it's been 2 hours. We're going to go ahead and shut this one down for this week. I appreciate all of you guys, and we will see you again next week. And Happy New Year, everyone.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.